Hello, Michelle.
Hi,
How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for meeting with me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
My name is Jordan, and I'm a social worker at the Thorpe Recovery Center. I provide support to those we serve by facilitating opportunities and resources that will aid them on their recovery journey. The Thorpe Recovery Center is an accredited nonprofit treatment center for those with substance use disorders. And today we have Michelle Lake with us. She is a self-taught artist, painting in her home studio in Lloydminster. She has painted in many homes and businesses in and around Lloydminster as well. Michelle's work is in both corporate collections in Lloydminster and private collections all over the world. She sells online through Etsy, Facebook, and Instagram. So thank you once again, Michelle. It's a pleasure to speak with you today.
Thank you so much. You too, Jordan.
And I just got to say, I love what's going on behind you. Putting some of your artwork on display, that brings me joy.
Yeah. This is a finished piece, and then this is a work in progress I'm doing for our church.
Ooh, I love it. Looks kind of fun. So, Michelle, tell me about the work you do and how you believe it benefits the community.
Well, I started, as an artist when I was a little kid, of course. I think, we all have that in us as kids. And my mom is an artist too. And so she inspired me. And I come from a family of real do-it-yourselfers. So we have a kind of a attitude of, I could probably do that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And that's sort of how it started.
Okay.
And so what I do, I just started painting. And in my previous job, I worked at the credit union. It was then Border Credit Union, then became Commonwealth. Anyway, so they had me do someone to painting for them. And then if somebody needed something, could you do something? So it gradually progressed. And then I started painting in people's homes. People would ask me, oh, could you do a mural in my kid's home? And so then it expanded and expanded to people having me paint murals in their homes and at their businesses. And then people would say, can you teach me to do that? I'm like,
oh, wow.
I probably could.
Yeah, back to that answer again. Of course.
I could try that. So I began to teach small groups, started with my girlfriends, and then, began teaching groups through the collective art market too, that used to be downtown in Lloydminster. I would have pretty much monthly classes. And then through the collective art market, I would work with clients of the Bee Fisher. They would come once a month and would do a little project, and it would take an hour or two, depending on people's attention span too. Right?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I began working with other groups too. I did a class with Big Brothers Big Sisters and private.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I can't even remember your original question, Jordan.
No, it's all good. I'm loving it. I'm loving all the information you've given me. I'll just put a little bit of a recap there. So the work that you do, obviously there's a ton of it going on, which is great. And I love that you've connected with organizations in the communities, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Bee Fisher. That's amazing. And I think just maybe speak about how that type of work benefits the community, especially when it comes to art and being creative. What would you say, Michelle?
Well, I think for one part of it, the art itself helps to beautify the community. I think it inspires people. It can bring a sense of joy and maybe even twig how they perceive something, maybe change their perceptions a little bit or challenge how they're thinking about things. And oftentimes what I'm led to is based on what I'm asked.
Okay.
When you do this, like, maybe I could. So I love that challenge, actually. It sort of excites me and it makes me go, how, I'd like to figure out how it's going to come together. This project I'm doing for the church, these banners, they have to hang in the sanctuary. And I'm still not quite sure how that's going to work out, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. But you can do it.
Yeah. And I think teaching classes to people, I think it really helps them connect with their inner child.
Definitely.
And so many people have, they're scared about it. Like, oh, what if it's not perfect? And I try to instill in them a confidence of it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Your art comes from your soul.
For sure.
And the process and how you go about it has to be individual, has to come from within.
Exactly.
And I can teach the, how to step by step.
Right.
But usually each painting is different, and you can see the person that painted it come through the painting. Right. Yeah.
Sure. And not just one painting is going to be like similar, right? Like, how when people do like those paint nights and stuff,
yeah,
almost everyone's picture looks different. And I think that's the beauty in art and being expressive, because it is what you want it to be, and it is what you make it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And somebody that has a little bit of quirkiness to their artwork, I find that so charming and endearing and exciting. Like, like a perfect little painting is kind of boring sometimes.
Right? Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
you put a little quirkiness in there, and you put your soul into it, and that's what comes forth. Yeah. So it's exciting to me to see younger kids. I've worked in the schools a fair bit. I've, gone into my grandchildren's school. They go to College Park School, and I've worked with kindergarten classes and grade 1 and grade 3 classes. And, so COVID has really put a crunch on things that way.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So I recently,
go ahead.
I just recently did a YouTube video for a grade 2 teacher at Father Gorman's school. So she can take her kids through the class. They haven't done it yet as far as I know, but the plan is when she's going to do it, we'll do a Zoom like this.
Okay.
So I can chat with the kids, and then they can go through it, and then we'll Zoom at the end.
That's awesome. That it's really just making what we can work right now, right? Like as
exactly.
COVID, it's definitely created a lot of barriers, but at least we're able to have things such as Zoom where we can still connect, even though it is a little weird and we're still getting used to it, but we're still finding that connection piece in a place or in a time that feels very like disconnected, I guess.
Yeah, I think so too. So when COVID first hit last March, a year ago, and the kids' schools were canceled, and I just thought, oh, everything was canceled, trips were canceled and weddings. And I just thought, art's not canceled.
Yeah.
So I started doing some Facebook Live painting classes with whoever wanted to join me. And then people would send me their pictures. Look, we did it. My whole family, we did it together. Or, I didn't have a canvas, but I did it on paper, and I used crayons. And I just was like, it was so awesome. And they're still on my Facebook page if anybody wants to go back and access those. There's I can't remember how many I did, maybe 6 or 7 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's such a good idea too, because it's something that you can do with your loved ones, like the loved ones that you are able to see right now, I should say.
Yeah, exactly.
Still enjoying the concept of art, I think, is awesome. Like, I love that it's not being lost in translation with COVID.
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
So Michelle, how long have you been a self-taught artist? I know you mentioned that you've been basically an up-and-coming artist since you were a child, but when did it really kind of, I guess, become like a business venture for you?
Well, I was working at the credit union, like I said, and I had a lady who asked me to come and paint in her home. And she had 3 kids, and she wanted each bedroom painted and a little bit in the bathroom and something in the kitchen and maybe in the entryway. And I was just like, I probably could.
I can do it. That's awesome.
And I love actually when you get to connect with people like that too.
Sure.
So their youngest was 6 at the time. I think he's like 24 or 25 now. So it's been a while. And he would say, did you start my room yet? And I said, no, not yet. Because he was kind of undecided.
Right.
So every day he would come home from school and he'd have like a new idea of what he wanted. So he had Under the Sea, and he had penguins, everything they learned, I think, in science in grade 1.
Oh my goodness.
So adorable.
Like, I want it all, actually.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So I got busy enough through doing this because I worked part-time in my off days, that I began to think, I think I can do this full time because I was so busy. So I quit my job, I think in 2002.
Okay.
So since then, I guess, it's like almost 19 years. It was in the fall of 2002.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's been a learning process, like with technology,
Right.
and beginning to sell online and figure that out. And still, I think I got it all figured out, and then something happens and I think, I don't really know how that should work.
That's where I'm at too. But I'm like, I could do it. I could figure it out. It's kind of like what I'm telling you too.
Some of them I'm like, ooh. Yeah. Right? And you get lots of ideas coming at me. Like I have requests, I take custom orders through my Etsy shop, and lots of people will, message me on Facebook and Instagram, and can you do this? Or Mother's Day is coming, or somebody's graduating and they want maybe some mixed media wings that I do, or some angel wings like this. And the church, they'll say, can you do this? I'm like, I probably can.
I will figure it out.
I will figure it out. That's my motto.
Exactly. I love it. That's mine too. Mine too.
Yeah.
So I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, Michelle, but have you seen an increase or decrease when it comes to people accessing like your services, especially during COVID right now?
Actually, my sales went way up. I had a lot more people coming to me for art. I think just we needed something to make us happy, or they're maybe renovating more, or they're, let's paint our daughter's room, but we need some art for that. So I found my sales have gone up. Classes, I haven't done any in person since COVID. Well, I did one, and it was a group of women at a horse clinic last summer. So it was in their great big barn. It was to be outside, but it rained, so we moved into the barn, and that was kind of the only one I've done.
Right. Yeah.
More, I don't relish the idea of wearing a mask and trying to instruct. And I'm a hugger and a touchy-feely person, and I just,
it's a challenge.
I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm working on getting a set of classes put up that people can buy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So with the upcoming website.
Yeah. Yeah, the upcoming website.
Maybe I could do it through Facebook. I don't know.
Yeah.
But smaller ones, at a less expensive price, and then some bigger ones too, bigger groups that they could access easily. But I'm open to suggestions too. If people have an idea and they want to contact me, let's do it. Like Mrs. Keck from Father Gorman's school. And she said, can you do a video for us to do this birch tree class? Like, I'm your girl.
Yeah, sure. I can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And that's kind of a good segue into my next question for you. So going along with the type of services you offer. So you offer classes, you do not, would it be contracting work? Like,
commissions,
filling orders for people, requests and that type of stuff. So along with that, other things in between that you do as well?
I used to do window painting. Started, the people from the radio station said, can you paint our windows? I'm like, maybe I could. So I Googled it, looked on YouTube. How do you do that? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Figuring it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I do murals, and I do paintings on canvas, and I do custom pieces, commission pieces for people. All they need to do is contact me. And I've done, like I said, classes, I guess. I'm not sure. Like I've worked with some clients at the Lloydminster Sexual Assault Services. Yeah. I've done a lot of painting for them. Okay. They have a Little Bear Child and Youth Advocacy Center.
Right. Yeah.
So I've done lots of murals in their building. And then I just recently created 18 paintings for them to use in a book that will be given to their younger clients.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a big project, and they patiently waited for me to finish that.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, and can you do this? So I have some more work to do for them.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Yeah. No, I think that type, like you had mentioned, like it's just the fact that being creative and art in itself just brings people joy and comfort
Mhm.
too, right? So I think right now, especially, it's time that we really start to utilize these types of services and stuff like that around us, because
Yeah.
I think all of us could use a little bit more joy in our lives, a little bit
Yeah.
more connection for sure. So I think it's
Yeah.
wonderful that you're kind of
Yeah.
really accommodating and flexible too. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
love that. Yeah. And art itself, like just the process of creating it doesn't have to be a masterpiece. Pick up a crayon or pick up a paintbrush and a piece of paper or a canvas from the dollar store and just let it go. Like you never know what it can bring up feelings, like maybe you might feel a little bit sad, or maybe you're working through some emotions as you're painting. I think that often happens a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, the emotions that kind of are expressed in the artwork.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
for
And I
sure.
think art therapy is very valuable. I've looked at certification, but I
Yeah,
haven't got there, one other thing to do.
yeah, exactly. On the
Yeah.
to-do list. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's really valuable though. The group that I worked with at the sexual assault services, we did angel wings, but they did how they wanted it to look. So some put words on the canvas and then painted over it. It's sort of a cathartic experience for them. And then some use like tons of gold and sparkles in their paint, and they just were able to make it exactly how they wanted it to be.
For sure. And it's kind of like art is almost like an expression such as journaling, right? Like you journal to let go of like your emotions or your thoughts, whereas art therapy is kind of like pretty similar too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I would agree with that too.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, how can somebody access your services or find out more about what you offer to the community?
Well, right now they can find me on Facebook, on
Okay.
Instagram, under both. I'm under Michelle Lake Art, Michelle Lake Fine Art on Facebook, but or they can contact me through my own personal page too. I'm working on a website.
Yeah. Another thing on the to-do list.
It's like the very beginning of it, because I think, oh, you spend a couple hours, I'm no further ahead, but
Yeah.
maybe I need to bring in some help with that.
Yeah,
Could be.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
and that's awesome, because we can link all of your contact information at the end of this interview. So whoever's watching that wants to get some more information can do so at the click of a button. Make it
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm quick to reply.
awesome.
If they want to go through Etsy too, that's fine.
Right.
Most of my clients from Etsy are from the US or
Okay.
Australia, oddly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Pretty cool,
That
actually.
is really cool.
Yeah.
So my next question for you, are there preconceived barriers when it comes to the association between art therapy and mental health?
I think there are probably. I think people kind of consider it a bit fluffy.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of depth to it. And maybe they think it's not going to be worthwhile, but I believe that it is.
Yeah.
And I believe just the process of allowing your hands to do the work, and then your mind can process your emotions and to go through that. I think it really helps people. But I do think there are, people think art therapy, what are you going to do? Throw some paint on a canvas.
Right.
But yeah, don't stop until you try it.
Exactly. And that's what I was just going to say too, is that like so often we have our clients who come here and they maybe haven't picked up a paintbrush in years, haven't picked up a crayon since they were a child. And then when we have them do some type of art activity, it just releases all of these different emotions and like connects them, like how you said, to that inner child who they might not have connected to in years or since they were a child, right? And especially with people too who may not have had the most safe childhoods too, and weren't really able to express being an actual child, right?
Yeah.
And it gives them that opportunity too, which is one of my like, I just love like the idea of art and expression and creativity. I think it's just a wonderful tool to really help to process through those emotions too.
I totally agree. And there's been all kinds of studies where it, it helps your memory and your cognitive function, and it, you're working with the other side of the brain that maybe you usually use, and it just helps you all around, and it helps your heart and soul too.
Yes, it does. Yes, right. I know. I love that, because typically when you're creating something that you think is beautiful, you're also smiling, you're enjoying the process, and smiling, that just automatically releases dopamine in your brain. So there you go. You're getting.
And sometimes you gotta let the anger out too with your paintbrush.
Exactly, just slapping that paint around.
Yeah.
Exactly. It can be therapeutic in so many different levels.
Yeah. Just attack the canvas.
Exactly.
And nothing else.
Yeah, punch a hole in it if you need to, but maybe let's just stick with paint. Like, we'll hope it doesn't get that far, but
throw the paint at it.
Yeah, exactly. You never know what you're going to create.
You know what? You could be the next Jackson Pollock, maybe.
Exactly. And so this is a perfect segue into my next question. So Michelle, can you speak to the importance of creativity and expression during this time of isolation? I know we've kind of touched on it a bit, but if there's anything else that you would want to mention for that?
I just think it is really important. Maybe if we're at home, maybe you have a bit more time in your hands, or maybe your kids at home. I know some of the schools have had some COVID cases and kids are probably isolating at home. I just think it's really important to let your creativity out, even explore what you've got there. Even I don't know, look through Pinterest and get some ideas, and then go, I'm gonna try something like that. Or I have a morning journaling practice that I do, and I write about 3 or 4 pages, and just stream of consciousness stuff. And then my last page, I will sketch. Not great sketches, but something like that, whatever.
But you release whatever you had to in that moment, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So I just think, just try it. If you're not happy, or if you're feeling sad or blue, just give it a whirl. Go on my Facebook page and find one of my videos and give it a whirl.
Exactly. I think that would be the perfect way, right? Especially because it's free and you're still interacting online, kind of, sort of, right? Which I think is a fantastic option that people have. And I kind of just want to open it up, Michelle, for you, if there's anything else that you kind of want to chat about, or if you think we kind of covered most of it today. Where are you at?
I don't know. I think we've kind of covered it. I just thank you so much, Jordan, for inviting me to chat with you.
Of course, I feel like we could chat all day.
We do.
Really good. Thank you, Michelle, so much for agreeing to be interviewed by me. I was really looking forward to this, and definitely brought a lot of joy to my day, and makes me want to go pick up a paintbrush right now. So I might have to do that.
Do it and then send me a picture.
I know. Yes, exactly. I will. Facebook you.
I love that too. I love when people send me stuff. I had a lady that was doing my classes last spring, and she said that she'd been going through some difficult times. They'd had I think a grandchild that was ill, and she just said painting with you was just helping so much to bring her some peace. So
that's amazing. It just goes to show how influential it really can be, right? It makes my heart smile too, that I'm able to help. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. We need more of that. Of that. Well, once again, Michelle, thank you so much for being on this segment, Coffee with Community Connections during COVID. I really appreciate it, and I hope that I get to sometime see you soon and do one of your painting classes. That would be fantastic, Jordan. Thank you so much for having me. Of course. Thank you. All right. Have a good day. You too. Thanks.